And lately, with the White Sox on all levels, there's been a choice. The better way to do it or the White Sox way to do it. And the White Sox way to do it has been bad. Hey, you guys probably shouldn't hire Tony La Russa. Nope. We're going to do it the White Sox way. All right. That failed. Ooh, was it really a good idea to jump out and get Mike Clevenger? Well, that's the White Sox way. Wouldn't the better way have been to wait to see what the market was instead of you setting the market? Well, we'll do it the White Sox way, and we'll just worry about the consequences of it afterwards. Instead of doing the due diligence before, that would have been the better way to do it. And now, what seemingly is their strategy with dealing with the media in town. And remember, it wasn't just the media that Tim Anderson was talking about. He was talking about fans too.
He did mention fans. He did.
You have a choice. You can do it the better way or the White Sox way. And again, they chose to do it the White Sox way. And it's so disappointing because it's not like the better way is that arduous of a path. It doesn't take much to, throughout your camp, if what you're trying to do is be positive and bring forth positivity, if you believe in manifesting that with good vibes and all of that stuff, it doesn't take much to try and set that tone. But it's clear that the tone that's been set at Camelback Ranch has been us against them. And that's fine if you win. And it's fine if you had a history of winning. You lost the division by 11 games last year to a team that did nothing at the trade deadline, who openly mocked you in their clubhouse after they won the division, who openly mocked the manager that you had to have step away from your team. If you want to blame us for that, fine. Fine. But there seems to not be a lot of mirrors over at 35th and Shields or at Camelback Ranch. A lot of windows, not a lot of mirrors for them. And it's just, I hate seeing the franchise that I love continue to make own goals. That's what they've been doing all winter. It's been own goal after own goal after own goal. It's like fans get excited when they hear Pedro Grifol and you go, hey, this guy seems to get it.
He was saying the same stuff. He called out the Sox energy. He said as an opponent who saw them on a regular basis, you could tell when they felt like playing.
Correct.
So you want to call out Chuck Garfien when he was giving you every chance to redeem yourself?
Fans got excited when they heard Grifol. They didn't really know him, but they heard him and they said, okay, yeah. Like
he acknowledged what we saw.
Right. We weren't blind to what we were seeing, but you follow that up with the Mike Clevenger signing. And people like, even from a baseball standpoint, it was questionable.
It's not just the Tommy John, it's the knee.
There's all of that stuff. It's own goal after own goal after own goal. And we get accused of having egos, and I admit to that. Like, I have an ego. I get that. There are people inside the White Sox organization whose egos have become outsized and become outsized for the job that they do. And they're worried about the wrong stuff. And they're trying to lean on people that they think they can pick on. And every time I see it, I go, is that the better way of doing things? Or is that the White Sox way of doing things? And I would ask this question of the people over at 35th and Shields. What is the White Sox way of doing things wrought? What has it gotten you? Where you want to fire off text messages at people and try to show that you're big and bad instead of having a conversation with folks. What has it gotten you? What's yelling at Chuck Garfien gotten you? I mean, come on. It's another show of people not even understanding where their allies might be. And it's so disappointing because you have conversations with people and you go, oh, that person's smarter than this. And then it turns out they aren't. They aren't smarter than this.
Well, and to me, the question becomes, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do when people give you chances and you finish the season at 81-81?
Yep.
What are we supposed to do about that? Not acknowledge that? Not acknowledge the talent that you put forth and that the team that you signed and that how you guys wanted playoffs or bust? You want us to pretend like that wasn't put out there?
You make the point that your team, your new manager makes the point that your team could probably benefit from high IQ or an IQ raising of your team. And then until yesterday, the three guys with the highest IQs on your team aren't on the team. The cost of Rick Hahn putting his plan into place and trying to see it out through was losing Jose Abreu. And the better way versus the White Sox way. We found out the night of his last game that was his last game as a White Sox, even though there was another game the next day.
Well, we found out that was his last game for this season.
For the White Sox.
Correct.
You know, right? And the better way would have been either to tell people that it was his last game so they could come out to the ballpark, or, you know what we're going to do tomorrow? We're going to announce Jose. We're going to run him out to first base, and then we're going to replace him.
That's all they had to do.
That is really all they had to do.
Mike, that would have been the better way.
Think about what John Lester did when he had a press conference, and it was the day before his last start just of the season. And he's like, guys, if this is it, I have some things that I want to say.
The White Sox way to do it was to fumble all over it so badly that Jose himself had to fall on the grenade and go, no, guys, this was my choice. This is my choice. No, I told him I wanted to sit and watch the game from the managerial standpoint. A texter says, Laurence,
do you think he's going to be doing that on March 31st?
I do not.
I
think he's going to be hitting the ball real hard someplace. A texter says, Laurence, you've been making this argument for 2.5 years. They are what they are. You're right. It just makes me sad. There is an anger because some of it is very personal. That's the stuff I won't say, but it's sad. And it doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't. And they keep choosing for it to be this way. And it's extremely disappointing. I'm sorry, Leila. I feel like I took over that segment.
I have a feeling that those emotions are not going to just dissipate once the season begins, and we're going to be here for a while.
Better start winning.
But that's it.
If you're us against them, you better come out like a house on fire. If that's the game that we're playing now, White Sox,
against
good luck to you.
The world champions who showed you exactly where you needed to improve
over
in
the first
playoff
20
series
games
that you last had.
I hope that you fixed all your problems. I hope that you don't have any injuries that linger. I hope that you figured out how to properly use Eloy Jimenez. I hope that everything goes well for you. If that's the game that we're playing now, if it's really you against us, I hope you do well.